people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Okay, we'll start with this. It would seem that Laila Ali, via her YouTube page, has uploaded a compilation video of content creators all talking about the same thing. How it looks like Claressa bought views for her last video to make it seem like more people watched it than they actually did.
Why the fuck would she do that?
Because of her ego, because she's petty, because she's small, because she might not have liked the idea that Laila's video got more views than her video. What's peculiar and grabbed everybody's attention is that Laila's video only did about just north of 200,000, where Claressa's was at close to 2 million. But more people commented on Laila's video, more people liked Laila's video, so it's either more people watched Claressa's video and didn't like it and didn't comment, or you bought the views. It's fake. It's manufactured.
Who the fuck do you buy views from?
AI, perhaps? The bot farm, as the kids like to say. Being honest with you, it seems like something that's right up Claressa Shields' alley, right up there with giant-sized novelty checks for offers that aren't real.
I mean, it seems like something Claressa Shields would do, but you know, I think it's important for Laila to not fan this flame any further, to not engage in any verbal jabs with Claressa, lest she end up keeping this thing going, which is really what Claressa Shields wants. She starts these beefs, and then as soon as the people she starts with respond to her, she makes it out like she's the victim.
They hating on me.
Really just reciprocating the energy that they're being given by Claressa all the same. That is what she's after. Verbal jabs and public disputes, feuds on social media. She's been arguing with anyone from Jake Paul to Amanda Serrano to Cameron Giles.
Alicia Baumgartner to Laila Ali. And Laila, if she's not going to come out of retirement, and she's not going to entertain Claressa Shields' challenge, then there's no need to keep engaging her. Because that's what it's going to come back to. Are you going to unretire or not? Are you going to fight Claressa or not? And that is what Claressa Shields wants. Laila doesn't need to be a participant. If this many content creators all took notice that there's something fishy about Claressa Shields' last video and its metrics, let them do the talking. Let them be the ones that expose her. Don't participate yourself. Laila herself isn't in the video that she uploaded. As stated, it's a compilation video. Different snippets from different content creators that all noticed the same thing.
Let them be the ones to expose it. Let them be the ones that make light of it. Claressa just announced what's supposed to be an $8 million deal spanning the next 2 years. And if you engage her now, you know what she's gonna say? She's gonna say you're bitter and you're mad that she just signed this major deal, when all you're really doing is responding to her bullshit.
Shit that she started. That's how it always goes.
Just gotta leave it alone.
It's the silence that kills her, you know. It's those who won't entertain her, those who don't have to, and Laila doesn't have to. She's moved on from the sport of boxing. She's endeavored into other things and had great success in other areas that she don't need to engage in these childish back and forths with Claressa anymore.
Buying views is pretty fucking pathetic. But that's what it looks like Claressa Shields did. Her ego. It eats her up that so many people saw Laila's video, so many people took Laila Ali's side on this.
Claressa wants to give off the impression that she won the battle, she won the war because her video got more views, and it's also very infantile. Getting more views on YouTube doesn't make it any less stupid that you called out a 47-year-old that hasn't boxed in close to 20 years. You still look like a fucking jackass.
But go ahead if that makes you feel better.
Right now, it's been all Lubin. We do mention it, obviously. We heard that they want to show up to the fight, and maybe challenge the winner, which hopefully, in our case, hopefully it is Vergil. But look, the way I see it with Boots, I really believe Boots and his team are still hoping to get another fight before the big one, because why wouldn't they invite Vergil to his last fight? They knew he was fighting somebody that meant nothing to boxing, that he was gonna take out so quick like he did in 1 round. So that having, inviting Virgil there, and having that would have been the main thing to do. That way I go to your fight, you come to mine, and we get ready for the next fight. I think he's gonna show up to make a show, to try to steal the show right there with the fans. But I really don't believe he really wants to fight, or else they would have invited Virgil and the team to go to his fight a few weeks ago. They never did. We never got a call. So Eddie, all respects to Eddie. I work with him very well, but I think he's the one promoting and saying more than Boots is, just to promote that fight for the future. I don't think they're ready for it. I don't think they want it. I really believe that Boots' team doesn't want the fight next.
Would seem a valid point that veteran trainer Robert Garcia is making that leads to an even more valid question. You're saying that because they didn't invite you to their fight a few weeks ago,
They don't want it.
they don't really want it. My question is, did you invite them to yours? Did you invite Boots Ennis to your fight this weekend? Because whether you invited him or not, he seems to be coming. He's going to be ringside.
And is that because Team Ortiz invited him to be there, or is that something he's taking upon himself? Either way, it's a strong showing. Nothing was stopping Vergil from attending Boots' fight in Philadelphia. If he really wanted to be there, he would have been. He could have been. Eddie wouldn't have gotten away. Matchroom at DAZN, they would have looked at that as building the fight. Building the Boots fight.
It's my understanding that DAZN is behind this thing. They want to make it happen for the coming calendar year against two young unbeaten fighters that box on their platform. So the interest is there, the money is there.
Pressure is on.
It's got to get through Erickson Luben first. Erickson Luben this weekend. Erickson Luben, who's ready to replace Vergil Ortiz Jr., envisions stoppage in what will be a historical fight. The pre-fight chatter surrounding the slugfest between Vergil Ortiz and Erickson Luben on November 8th is how Ortiz will finally get to move on to face Jaron Ennis afterwards. Not so fast, says Luben, the ring's number 5 rated contender at 154. Luben certainly is no walk in the park for Ortiz, who's ranked number 1, and he's preparing with a massive chip on his shoulder to upset the apple cart. Beating somebody like Vergil, I'd basically be replacing him, Luben said. In a promotional vignette titled Dare to Enter, ahead of their main event fight at the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas, this weekend. I'm one of the top dogs in this division. I feel like a lot of dudes tend to duck me or overlook me. I'm just happy that Vergil took a fight like this. He could have fought a list of names, so respect to him. We're both in our primes. We're not waiting for somebody to get old, or not ducking each other because the money isn't right. It's gonna be one of those real historical matchups. I'll probably stop him or win a decision. It doesn't matter to me. Go home with a win. After this fight, they won't be talking about Vergil. They're gonna be talking about the Hammer.
Well, I don't think the Hammer can win a decision on a Golden Boy promotion show. I think the Hammer, Luben, he's got to knock him out. He's got to take it out of the judge's hands. Don't think he's getting a fair shake on a Golden Boy Promotions show. Golden Boy Promotions judges.
Luben, 27-2 with 19 knockouts, passed up his IBF mandatory position to challenge for a world title against Bakram Murtazaliev to face Ortiz instead. Ortiz, who's anticipating an action-packed chess match, commended Luben for embracing what should certainly be a barn burner. He took the fight, respect, but on November 8th, he will see why this is my division, said Ortiz. I want to be a fighter that all of the fans respect. Promoter Oscar De La Hoya echoed much of the same sentiments as Ortiz. It's a fight people are going to be pleasantly surprised with, said De La Hoya. This is a perfect opportunity for both guys. You have to go out there and prove, take risks, take chances. According to DraftKings, Ortiz is a minus 800 betting favorite, and Luben is a plus 500 underdog.
Now, I've got Vergil Ortiz winning this weekend. It's just the question of how. How does he look? Does he scrape by with a close decision? Or does he make a statement? Does he stop Erickson Luben? I feel like he has to, because Luben's already been stopped 2 times in a matter of seconds into the first round with Jermel Charlo, and stopped again by Sebastian Fundora. To prove that you're the number 1 junior middleweight, one would think you should be able to do to Luben what they did to Luben.
Because it'd be very poor optics if you don't. If you labor, if you languish, if you struggle, God forbid you get knocked down like you got knocked down 2 times in a Boachuk fight.
They didn't land on Luben by accident. I believe they are testing the waters. They want to see how he looks against a southpaw, a boxer.
Like Boots is a southpaw, like Boots is a boxer. So you could look at this as sort of a rehearsal for a Jaren Ennis fight. Depending on how Vergil looks, that might tell the story.
Thought you said you didn't think this fight was going to happen next.
Oh, I still don't. But that doesn't mean they're not making their preparations. That doesn't mean they're not getting ready. They're getting him ready. But I am just not confident that this fight comes together in a timely fashion. As stated, Vergil could go in there, win the fight, and next thing you know, they start talking about some nagging injury.
Shoulder, an elbow, a hairline fracture, a cut.
So even if I look at this as a rehearsal for a Boots fight, that doesn't mean Boots is next. I'm not confident we get that next. And you know what? Neither is Eddie Hearn. That's why he's already got a plan B lined up.
As the winner of Murtazaliev versus Kelly is an option for Jaren Ennis if the Vergil Ortiz fight falls through.
What did I tell you?
IBF junior middleweight champion Bakram Murtazaliev finally has his next fight lined up, and it will come against Josh Kelly. The targeted date for the matchup is January 31st in England, but a formal announcement has not yet been made. Matchroom Boxing's Eddie Hearn, who previously was not involved with either fighter, stepped into the situation to stage the fight and saved it from going to a purse bid last week. Hearn is keen on the clash because he wants to have the option to set up the winner with Jaren Boots Ennis. Sometime in the coming calendar year, Kelly's trainer and manager, Adam Booth, approached us about doing the fight. I don't represent Josh Kelly at the moment, contrary to reports.
Remember that last week people were saying that Josh Kelly is now with Matchroom and that's why they picked up the fight? I don't represent Josh Kelly at the moment, and Murtazaliev is with Kathy Duba, Louis DeCubas, and Aegis Klimas, whom I've got a good relationship with, Hearn told The Ring. I agreed to a deal to stage the fight. I like the fight. Murtazaliev is a very good fighter, and we are investing in that division with Jaren Ennis. Anytime there is a Brit fighting a very good fighter for a world title, I'm excited by it. Tying up the deal for the fight, obviously, we want to have a horse in the race. If you want to call it that way, we are putting our money up for the fight. We're interested to see the outcome of that fight. Murtazaliev, 23-0 with 17 KOs, has not fought since destroying Tim Tszyu in 3 rounds back in October of last year. Many options like Vergil Ortiz and mandatory challenger Erickson Luben have come and gone for Murtazaliev, and it was Kelly who ultimately got the assignment.
This is what I thought. It's not that Matchroom is all in for Josh Kelly, especially for a fight that he's favored to lose.
They're not all in with Josh Kelly. They're all in with Boots, and what they actually want is the winner of this fight. They've likely structured the deal to have options on the winner, whoever the winner is, Josh Kelly or Bakram. I figure it's gonna be Bakram.
Most people figure that.
Vergil Ortiz and Luben are about to fight each other this Saturday to headline a Golden Boy promotion show on DAZN. Hearn and Ennis will be ringside in Fort Worth, Texas to ramp up a potential showdown with the winner. Their preference is Ortiz, but the betting underdog Luben is a dangerous opponent who has a path to victory as well. You always want to win a world title, but the fact is that the best fight that could be made at 154 is Boots versus Vergil, said Hearn. I just hope Vergil and his team truly want that fight, because that is, for me, the best fight in the division. If we can't get the fight, of course, we will target the winner of Murtazaliev versus Kelly. If something happens to Vergil, he's injured in the fight, or worse, he loses the fight. If Luben upsets him, Luben versus Boots is all right, but it doesn't get Boots a world title.
You're saying that if Luben pulls the upset on Saturday, don't expect Boots versus Luben next. They'll pivot.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's their skin in the game in Kelly versus Murtazaliev. They're keeping that in their back pocket depending on what happens on Saturday.
That's plan B.
So let's say Vergil holds up his end of the bargain. He takes care of business with Luben. Has a good showing.
I think Boots beats him.
Tail of the tape, they're about even, though I think Boots has a bit more reach than Vergil Ortiz. Stylistically, Boots is a boxer puncher, Vergil's a pressure fighter. What usually happens when boxer punches fight pressure fighters? What you saw in Boots versus Roman Villa. What you saw in Boots versus David Evanesian.
Stanionis, Suisma Lima.
What did you see in those fights?
Boots is not the guy where you try to crowd him, come forward, throwing punches and bunches. He's gonna use that against you, but that's Vergil's methodology. That's what he's good at, and that's what works for him. It would not work for him with Boots, so I'd have Boots winning that fight.
Still a great fight, even if you favor Boots to win. Eddie Hearn thinks it's the best fight to make at 154.
What makes it intriguing? Even though Boots got the right style for the job, he does get touched up here and there. Punches get in, he does get hit. If Vergil lands flush, you know that Vergil would arguably be the biggest puncher that Jaron Ennis has ever fought. And if he gets in with a hot one, how well does Boots take it? Because Boots takes hits.
I got the fight 60-40 in favor of Jaron Ennis, and that is subject to change, depending on how Vergil looks this weekend. Because what if he looks bad? That 60-40 could easily turn into a 70-30 in favor of Jaron Ennis.
So if he looks that fucking bad, I hardly think that Oscar's gonna let Vergil fight Boots next. That's the point, isn't it? This fight, this weekend, is a rehearsal for how Vergil might perform the day that he fights Boots. So there's a lot of pressure, and it's important for Vergil to look the part. Now, if he looks the part,
You know, I still don't think it happens next.
I still don't, but it will be encouraging towards the fight down the line. I just don't think Golden Boy wants to do that fight right now. They may have something else in mind for Vergil beyond this weekend.
Like what?
Like Sebastian Fundora? I've been thinking a lot about Sebastian. Golden Boy's relationship with Samson Lukowicz. How much longer can Samson protect Sebastian Fundora? His fight with Keith Thurman got called off. I don't imagine it's going to get rescheduled because it's just not a hot enough ticket to market as a main event.
Maybe as an undercard fight.
I've been thinking a lot about Sebastian Fundora being WBC champion and Vergil having the interim title. I've been thinking a lot about Samson's working relationship with Golden Boy, how they share a fighter in Gabby Fundora, Sebastian's sister.
Been thinking a lot about that.
And I was just thinking, who do Golden Boy Promotions view as a more beatable fighter?
What do you think?
Boots Ennis or Sebastian Fundora? And what makes for an easier set of negotiations? Boots Ennis or Sebastian Fundora? You will notice that Golden Boy and the PBC are doing a lot of business right now. They're about to make a fight between Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios.
They're talking about doing a fight between David Benavidez and Zurdo Ramirez.
And I just started thinking, what if they have their own plan for Vergil where he finally fights Sebastian for the WBC title? They might want to do that more than they want to fight Boots, at least right now.
It's a lot of moving parts, and we'll see what happens, but I am not convinced that we get Boots versus Ortiz right away.
Maybe he fights Sebastian next.